Till 6 o'clock Monday night to decide on Governor Landry's tax reform package.
As Ashlyn Brothers explains, there's still a lot up in the air.
Well, that's right, Meg and John. What we do know is as legislators work against the clock, the governor's tax reform package does not have enough votes, or they would have passed it already. Now, Diller political analyst Dr. Robert Collins says Governor Landry proposed some major changes, like a flat income tax rate, lower corporate taxes, tacking on sales taxes to various services, and tossing out several tax exemptions. As Collins explains, the legislature keeps recessing to try and iron out a written compromise behind closed doors that they can then bring to the floor before the opposition can galvanize against it. He says negotiating in a public setting allows special interest groups to get involved. Collins tells me, despite the looming deadline, he's certain something will come of this special session.
I doubt very seriously that we're going to have a 3-week special session where the governor said tax reform as his priority and then everything just crashes and burns and everyone goes home. There will be some sort of compromise document on the governor's desk within the next few days.
Collins says, as history has proven, there will always be amendments to these proposed bills, never a pristine document, and any changes can always be revisited during the regular session. The House and Senate will reconvene tomorrow morning. Meg?
So, Ashlyn, what happens if lawmakers can't come to a compromise before this deadline?
Well, current tax law, Meg, would stay in place and Governor Landry could call another special session at some point, though more likely, Dr. Collins says the governor would likely rework his package and then he would introduce it in the spring during that regular session when they have 3 months, not 3 weeks, to make the decisions. John?